All right, everybody, welcome back. Very special episode here. Very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, my buddy Rooster, Ryan Rooster Chapman from Belfry. He's got a special guest with him. So you do the intro for your special guest.
Yeah, it's my little boy Knox Chapman, the next Belfry ball player in the family.
So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk some softball. We're going to talk some football, probably, maybe even some school wrestling. You see, he came with a regalia. What does those championship belts there mean to you with Belfry? I mean, you're one of the few guys who've probably played the football, won a state title, helped coach one, and then you've led your teams up to so many district titles in softball as well. I mean, just talk about your lifetime at Belfry, I guess, and what that belt right there means to you.
As you can see on the belt, we got these last year for the kids. Coach Varney and me had an idea. They're touchdown titles, turnover titles. Knox has the one for the girls for home runs. We play for championships. We want the gold.
Absolutely.
That's what we do, and we were taught that at a young age, and that's why Knox is even packing it today. So that's how we've done it.
I had something special planned for you, but I forgot about it. I was going to have some of the little packets, the cream of the crop. As everybody knows, me and Rooster, we like to talk wrestling as we talk sports as well. He's one of these guys that we have some fun when we do interviews over the year. We always do some wrestling quotes here and there. If you've read some of our stories with him, there's been some Roller Warrior quotes, some Ric Flair quotes. Why do you like to do that with your teams? I know it's to have fun, but what else is the reason behind stuff like that? Is it just to build confidence and let these girls or guys have fun with what they're doing and know that they can have fun and be successful at the same time?
Yeah, our girls in every meeting there with two claps and a Ric Flair. And then, Coach, big role model of mine, Coach Haywood, who's on the big belt, he styled and profiled, baby.
Absolutely.
He styled and profiled, and he walked the aisle, and he just had a confidence, and that's what we want our players to have, is confidence.
Yeah, well, before we get too much into some of the other stuff, softball season just in, so we'll focus on that first. You got Molly Farm, you got a lot of talented players, had a great season. I know you wanted to win that region championship. Didn't really count that one, but you were right there every game. Talk about, being successful, having such a successful season, seeing these girls develop and grow, and having a girl like Molly Farm to lead these girls, because when she graduates, she's probably going to have a lot of records at Belfry and maybe in the state as well.
Yeah, Molly's Molly. That's what we always say. She's gonna come out and compete every day. This year was a trying year for us. We lost a senior leader early in McKaylen. She got back for the district, but all three seniors this year, they moved around, played different positions. Baylor moved over to short. She was an all-state, second team shortstop. So her and Molly, I'm hoping they lead us this next year. And Randa, who had the big triple there in the region, I think they're going to lead us to some promising stuff. And then we got some great young players. I just had one run a marathon. I mean, that don't happen a lot for us at Belfry. And she's just 14, so they're challenging themselves every day, and that's what we got to do to beat Lawrence. That's the top of the mountain. We got to reach the top.
Yes. And then, we mentioned Molly, but I don't know where she's at right now, strikeouts. She's probably close to 1,400. Probably by the time of her career, she's going to be over 1,500 or right around something like that. Talk about what amazing career she's had and being able to be a part of that and seeing all the success that, you've kind of helped her develop as a coach. And, the team kind of has been successful too as well. I mean, it's kind of a cool dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I think I've about coached Molly as long as Knox here has been alive. No, Molly followed some great pitchers. I've been blessed at Belfry to have great pitchers. And then Molly came in with some great leadership at the time. Lindsay Phillips I think, was around the senior at that time, so she was helped leading a little bit. And, Molly's learned from those older kids throughout the years how to take care of these younger ones, and they say she's a great teammate. And I think that's the best thing you can ever have said about. She's been a great teammate.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, she's around, I think she's a little over 14. Our goal's around 18. We like to set goals.
Yeah.
That's where we're hoping to be.
Yeah, and speaking of goals and setting records, you just became the all-time winningest coach in any girls program, any girls program at Belfry. There's been some really good programs, basketball. I mean, you go down the line. There's so many great programs over. How special does that mean for you to be a part of that and see all the success and help some of these girls develop and go and do great things? I guess.
Yeah, I never planned on coaching girls. It kind of Mr. Varney back when I was trying to get a teaching job, kind of gave me that opportunity, and it's kind of stuck. And as far as the record, I'm gonna be honest, it's I also got the most losses too. I guess I learned that for Coach Haywood. That just means I've been around a long time. The record, yeah, it's great to have. I joke with our principal all the time that one day they can name a bathroom or something funny after me. I don't really care. And but yeah, I know the guy that had it. He was a great, he was our athletic director, a football coach. Then he became the girls' basketball coach. He led us to a state runner up in basketball. And I think Bobby's going to lead us there, with the more time he's got coming up. And it's an honor, but at the same time, I ain't about me. I'm wanting to win that region title and the district titles and more stuff for the girls and the boys, with football and we want more state titles. And like I
Yeah.
said, we don't districts are expected at Belfry.
Yeah, you talking about his titles and stuff. I think you're probably one of the few guys who've probably played, won the state title at Belfry, and has been a part of the coaching staff. How special is that? I mean, that's kind of a dream for any coach to win as a player and a coach, right?
Yeah, it's it's a different feeling. Those 12 guys I graduated with on the '03 team, we're still all real close. We talk to each other. One's a Pike County attorney over here, Paul Jr. Everybody's kind of went on to do something big, and I'll be honest, the feeling is different as a player and as a coach. Getting to watch kids do it that you coach is probably a little bit better feeling. And I didn't get to experience what Coach Haywood, Coach Mickey, Coach Castle, and all them experienced until I started coaching. It's a different dynamic to do it as a coach, and um, it's been a blessing to do that.
Yeah, and that coaching staff, a lot of you guys have been together for a while. Just talk about how close you guys are because I mean, it seems like if you see one of you guys, there's probably Coach Cass or somebody else is around not too far away. So just talk about how close that coaching staff is because I think that's something very unique over there at Belfry.
Yeah, I don't think without the closeness we had, we wouldn't have been able to handle with what we went through with Coach last year. We knew who the guy was. It's always been Coach Varney. He's a great leader. He was my position coach back when I played, and Coach Castle was kind of one of his position coaches, and then overall my defensive secondary coach. So I get to coach with guys that coach me, and then Anthony Tackett. You know, I'll just he's the best offensive line coach in the country in my book. I'd take him over anybody. But yeah, Coach Castle, he's kind of like, as Knox would say, that's Big Todd, right? He's kind of the daddy to us all now. We look up to him, and we still got Coach Mick. He's a phone call away from us. We call him a lot when we need him because he was there to help lead all of us, and he was a big part in helping us grow when it went bad with Coach and Miss Haywood. She helps lead us, and now Coach Varney's wife stepped in and helping with some of the younger wives and young players. So it's been real positive.
I don't want to talk too much about Coach Hayward and his passing because I know y'all were so close, but I think the players in that situation, it had to take a toll on those guys, right? Had to. There's no way out. It took a toll on you guys as coaching staff. But you're all being so close and being so tight knit with Coach Haywood and everybody. How did that help you guys kind of talk to the kids to kind of, deal with things a little bit more than, maybe what they should have at that age? Because no kids at that age should have to deal with something like that.
Yeah, you hate it when a kid loses a guardian or a parent, and he's kind of like everybody's guardian and parent in mine. I lost my dad at a young age, and Coach kind of took that role for me, and got me in real early. Uh, it helped us. He taught us to be great communicators. To be a good coach, you got to be a great communicator, and so that helped us. The relationship that him and Chase had, and then me and Chase going into Gabe now, who's an up and coming quarterback for us. Um, you always got special relationships with your quarterbacks, and Coach had that, and he had a special relationship with all our players. But the way he taught us to teach them, we all have a special relationship to him, and we all want to honor him and win last year. And we got close, but we didn't get there.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's no shame in that law. Those are some of those things are you might not be a state champion, but you're a state champion, right? Is that one of those things you don't feel like a loser coming out of that because that game was either way. That could have went draws, guys. Ways. It unfortunately went the other way for you guys that night, but that's one of those games. I think everybody's you can say these guys are champions even without winning. Is that a correct statement,
Uh,
or kind of what's your feelings on stuff like that?
I think that was a great senior class, great team, but they're going to say the same thing. We want gold. That's what we play
Absolutely.
for. We won't call ourselves a champion. Like I said, we set the goals early. We already got our goals set where we want to be in December. Um, but it starts, like a mountain. You got every little step, get a little better each day. You got to win a district. You got to win a region. You got to win semi-state. And we've been stuck there, and hopefully we can get back over that hump this year.
Yeah, football season's closing in. We lost. I think you said 18 seniors. What does the workouts right now look like right now? I mean, you guys are probably used to, young senior class, senior class leaving, young guys got to step in. What's your guys feeling right now with the guys coming in, getting ready to suit up this fall?
I could probably speak for our whole coaching staff on that. We're really excited.
Yeah.
We got some great players coming back. We lost some great players, but at Belfry, from the time they're Knox's age to the time they're my age, football's kind of embedded in us. You probably come out running the veer. You know, uh, it's been an awesome an event for us, and these guys are coming out every day and they're working, man. I mean, it's been the summer workouts so far have been fun, and it's awesome. I mean, Knox even goes in with me sometimes for those.
Hey, that's the great stuff over there at Belfry. It seems like the guys started out at a young age and they just come up. It's natural. Just talk about being a part of that for so long, and I think Belfry. You always, I think I've talked about it last week with Bobby Varney. Belfry guys are Belfry guys, and that's probably a vague statement for people watching. But what does being a Belfry guy mean to you?
Um, to sum up what Coach Castle said one time, it's you bleed red, and you're going to bleed it for your whole life. Once you're a pirate, you're always a pirate, and that's one of the sayings we have. Um, I'm gonna tell you something you probably didn't know. As a 5-year old, and even for him when he was in young school, Coach Hayward would go around in the grade schools, and that's something that we all picked up as coaches. We'd go around, and you want to be out, and you want to be seen, you want to be part of the community, and people want to play for you. People want to come watch you. And we tell our girls and our guys, I'm telling them you're the inspiration for that next generation. We have tunnel time for football. We have the walk up songs for softball. They know whose song that is when they're coming to the plate. They know whose name's called when they got them hands out and ready to walk the aisle. We come out to Rick's theme song, and we've done that for years, and that's just what we want to do. We want to just keep building. What we did back. When I was blessed to be on the state team, we had nothing like we have now, and we were a stepping stone for what these guys have now, and what these guys have will hopefully build for bigger things for our athletics.
I think that's a good statement you said back when you played. I think some of the success that those early championships helped build what's there now. I mean, how important is that to see that progress and always keep getting better and better and always building on success, whether it's in the classroom, on the field, or whatever. Because I think Belfry's, that tradition of success is really showing through and continues to show through.
Yeah, to quote Lou Holtz, "You either growing or you're dying."
Mhm.
So we always want to be growing. If we feel stagnant, or we feel like that's when it's time to quit. Coach always said, and when I feel like we're not getting any better, it's time to quit. Same thing from Coach Mickey, Coach Castle. Those are guys I looked up to. Coach Hagee, you got to grow. Um, and I'll be honest, as for myself personally, I became a much better coach when me and my wife had Knox. You learned how to deal with kids better when you have them on your own. Those players that played for me, especially the girls pre-Knox, said, "Man, you was a lot meaner then." And one of them's actually, a couple of them's been his teachers in school, and I think that's cool. All these girls that I've had, they're all doing big things, and even the boys. We just had a West Point graduate, a football West Point
Huge,
graduate, so
huge.
that's huge. He come by the other day, and he's going into tanks. So I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And he was our kicker.
That's awesome.
I mean, he was a kicker on the 21 team. So, when you get those kind of kids, you can see the growth, and it makes you want to keep coming back. And when I quit seeing that's when I'll hang it up, and then I'll probably never be able to go around the stadium again. It hurt me too bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and speaking of kids coming back and having success, you've seen so many kids go on to play college or whatever. But then when you look in the stands on Friday night, there's guys who've been there, probably every Friday night for the past 20, 30 years, maybe even longer sometimes. What does that mean as a coach and being a part of the community to know, hey, we're always going to have community support. They're always going to show up for our kids. They're going to be there. They're going to root us on. They're going to have, they're just going to keep pushing everybody to get better. How big is that?
It's huge. We used 21. We were 0-5. Most people were packing it in and hollering. We're going in the grocery store and they're like, we're just going to get a little better, coach. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. And those guys on that 21 team, they're always coming in. Those guys in the run of 4 state titles, they're always coming in. I think a few of them's going, maybe one in the Hall of Fame this year. I don't know who's going in. I know we're having a Hall of Fame game, but I can say this. It's really cool. We always invite them back to talk. Same thing out at the softball field when an old player comes back. My FCA coach this year she played on my first team at Belfry as a softball player, and that's really cool to have that. And you see these players grow, and that's all you can ask for as a coach, just see them grow.
Yeah, you as a coach at Belfry, sometimes you think coach at Belfry, you think hard and those guys are all about work. And that's true probably 95, 99% of the time.
99.9.
But you have some fun though. I mean, you've been put through tables, you've done all kinds of things. Why do you do stuff like that for your kids? I mean, is it just to show them that you care, that you can have fun and work hard, that there's some reward at the end of the day? Or, I mean, why do you do things like that?
Like I said, the one girl at the end of the region we got beat out this year, she said, you was a lot meaner when I played. Sometimes I just want to see if I still got it deep down. And then sometimes Coach Varney or Coach Cass was daring me. And they want to see it, like the table thing. Coach Varney's like, hey, let's do it. I went through the table. And then last year, Coach Varney hit me with a ball bat and had me in the scorpion deathlock. So, we want to have fun with our kids. We want to win, but at the same time, we want to have fun. Coach was big on, we dance under the red lights on big wins.
Absolutely.
I don't know, you've been there for a couple of those. And if you ain't having fun in it, ain't no reason to play no more.
That's a great answer. And speaking of having fun, like I said, we'll talk a little wrestling. I think that's a good transition, right? Getting thrown through tables. What did wrestling mean to you growing up? And who's some of the guys that influenced you? I know one that influenced you, or 2 or 3, but just for the people who don't know, and why do you kind of incorporate some of this stuff?
I'm gonna be honest. When I was a little boy, I would sit in the floor at my grandpa Woodrow's house up in the head of a holler and watch it with my dad and a couple of my uncles, and we loved the Four Horsemen. My grandpa, he was old school and he thought it was real. And for a long time I did, up until Knox watches wrestling. Him and my nephew, they watch a little wrestling, and Knox has a favorite, and one of his favorites is mine, but mine's by far, there is no doubt. No doubt. Even at my wedding, I walked down the aisle like Ric Flair. I played the music and for Knox's, like, I think second Halloween, he dressed as second or third, he dressed as Ric Flair. And outside of that is Macho Man, the madness.
That's it.
And I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to go with Meehan. I kind of like Sting a little bit, but I'll let Knox tell you his real fast. Tell him who your favorite is.
Undertaker.
Oh,
he's an Undertaker guy. His
And Ric Flair.
and Ric Flair.
Not Ric Flair, Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. He's a Lucha Libre, so
he likes the high
we can get down with that. But they getting some love from over there in the cheering section. But
Corey likes
there's nothing like Ric Flair. And those guys, watching them, you thought they were superhuman when you were a kid. And I'm always there's never gonna be nobody like Ric Flair for me. He could talk it, he could walk it. He made you want to live it. And I'll be honest, I don't know how many viewers have been to it. You got to be really athletic to do that stuff. Like our kids, we have actual wrestling coach out on one of our football coaches wrestling. That's the longest 2 and 3 minutes of your life is on a wrestling mat. Our football guys go over and do it with them every once in a while, and gosh, it's forever.
Yeah.
And it's a fight, but yeah, wrestling for me always is entertainment. I still watch it, and it's turned into I'm letting Knox over here shaking his head. He does. He watches it with me, and right now my guys, Randy Orton. I like Randy Orton. But
His
Ric
dad's
Flair,
one of those old school
yeah, and
guys.
Cowboy Bob,
Yes,
I
sir.
ran them all, but Double A is up there in my ranks too. He looked 40 from the time he was 20.
I think
The
he was
spine
born
buster
40.
may be one of the greatest finishers of all time,
Absolutely.
and you can't leave out Stone Cold.
Yeah, all
I
those
mean,
guys.
those guys. Now there's some I can't. I'm not a Roman Reigns guy. These young guys, they're all about that. But me, I want to style and pro. He's not good. That's right. Style and profile, baby. And I'll kiss your boots. If Roman Reigns could beat Ric Flair on the mat right now in his prime, I'd kiss his boots.
No
But it
way
ain't gonna
possible.
happen, baby.
Yeah, no way possible. But staying on that theme as a coach, why do you kind of? There's stuff to learn from that too, right? There's the good guys, the bad guys. You do things the right way, good things happen. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Just kind of talk about that stuff too, because I think you do a good job of incorporating it and making it fun for your kids.
Yeah, we've always taught our kids things ain't always gonna go your way.
Hmm.
There's nothing like sports to teach life. Like I said, I lost my dad young. My wife lost hers young. Father's Day's coming up, so that's always a tough day for us. Um, and then losing coach, but you got to overcome things. And in sports, you got to overcome things. You might fumble this possession. Well, pick your head up. You got another one.
Absolutely.
There's always another game. And sometimes, and I'll be honest, baseball, softball, I've been blessed to coach both. The best team don't always win.
Exactly.
That's why sports, I think, is the greatest thing we have left to gladiators in our country. And I don't even like to talk soccer, but FIFA, I'm gonna watch some of it with my son because it's a battle, it's a competition,
Hmm.
and to me, any red-blooded American wants competition.
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect thing to say. And just kind of, I guess I'm not going to a whole lot more. I don't want to take too much of your time today. Me and you could probably talk for hours upon hours, but
Oh, yeah.
just kind of talk about, some of the things that you're looking forward to next season, whether it's football, softball. I think there's so much on the horizon for you guys over at Belfry.
Yeah, well, Knox says I got to throw in a basketball plug because
Okay.
he's saying, we got to compete in basketball too, right? Somebody's wanting to start learning basketball.
One of his favorites is
There's no doubt I'm the Larry Bird guy,
Larry
right?
Bird,
Larry
absolutely
Bird.
the best of all time.
Knox is getting into basketball, so we're talking a little bit. And I tell these young guys all the time, ain't nobody better than MJ, but Larry Bird's my guy. And, Brent does a great job over there for us. So basketball's picking up to even Knox, getting into it. And I think we got a free camp tomorrow and Thursday here in the county for kids that our board set up. So basketball's picking up. Everything's kind of picking up here in the county, and that's a good thing for every program. I've been blessed to be around and go through a lot of coaches, coach against a lot of coaches. And I think every program's got a lot better in our county.
Few more things. Just kind of talk about that. I mean, Coach Hagee had a great season this year too. Baseball, softball, both very successful. Just talk about how cool that is. Seeing him, I think he got his 400th win. Being all, yeah, it's hard to probably watch a lot of his games, but y'all been coaching a while and seeing him, his program's doing good. I know you probably love that as well, right?
Yeah, Coach Hagee was the first coach to ever hire me. I was an assistant there before football. I was coming right out of college, playing for Coach Ashby. Coach Hagee hired me. And number one, he looks like Razor Ramon. Let me throw that in right now. He looks like the bad guy. I've got to throw that in about Coach Hagee. But yeah, he just won his 400th. I think he's chasing Coach for our school record. He does a great job. When I struggled in college, I would call him when I was struggling hitting, and he coached. He's coached so long now. He coached our principal and me. Me and Boo played together. But it's fun to watch Coach Hagee. Him and my son, they have a great relationship, and he goes over and hollers at him all the time. You mess with Coach Hagee, we fight with him, but it's fun. His kids have grown up around me. One just graduated. I remember I just got married, and I'm taking 18 high school kids to Disney with Coach Hagee, and that was different. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to coach or not. But he's done a great job. And then you see the rest of these guys in the county. Chris was coaching. I played against Chris when he coached at Pike Central. Now he's Pike was leading them. He's done a great job. And then you look, Eric does a great job wherever he goes. He's over at Shelby Valley now, I think. And then I can go on and on throughout our county. The coaching, the playing, everything has risen, and that's something you say. Our board has helped us out. We're getting some nicer facilities with the newer schools. and it's always good. Or like I said, we gotta rise up as a county, and that's just not talking sports. That's everything. We gotta stick together. Without coal, I'm a coal miner's kid. It's been a little harder in our county for us.
Yes, sir. Just kind of talk about you got Knox here. Just talk about the future of Belfry. What you look forward to seeing these kids grow up like him and seeing him play and develop. How cool is that to be a part of the teaching community and the coaching community where you can see these young kids all the way up
Yeah,
develop.
I'm getting close to maybe giving one up. I don't know. I'd like to watch him play more. Like I said, everybody that knows me can tell you I'm not a big soccer guy. I think we got great high school soccer coaches. Marcos, our boys coach, he's taught me a lot. Coach Paz, I like to aggravate him all the time. But I go and watch these young kids and they're having a great time. And I've kind of enjoyed it, getting to sit and watch him. I probably enjoy watching him play more than I do coaching. But yeah, I know a lot of the kids, especially his age. I got a nephew. His nickname's Fat Daddy. I know all the kids his age, and we all got nicknames in our family. We got a big family, and yeah, I'm Rooster, right? And so the future's bright. Coach Wright, great athlete at our school. His son plays multiple sports, so I'm around him. So hopefully that keeps Coach Wright around. Coach Castle's grandson, he's in our middle school right now. Or Gabe, Coach Varney's son. I mean, I got to coach Lane as a position coach, and now I'm getting to coach Gabe as a position coach. So it's been kind of cool. And Coach Varney's oldest son went through our program, and he's training horses now. So you get to watch these kids grow, and it's the same thing with for the first time in my life, I feel old. I coached a player this year of a kid that I coached, and that was actually in softball.
Oh, wow.
So it's been. Man, that made me feel old, but I'm, in football for a while, I've coached some of my teammates' kids, and I've known them since they were born. And so it's a different feeling when you're starting to coach like that. And I don't know how Coach Haywood and Coach Mickey, those guys done it for forever, and they coach, some of my cousins that are 10 years older than me to cousins that are younger than me to Knox being around coach. It's pretty cool to have that dynamic over there.
Yeah, and I guess like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So if anything I forgot that you want to add or say, feel free now. Or if you just want to cut a promo on me or Mayhan or Corey or the News Express or anybody, feel free because
Do we want to cut a wrestling promo? What you want to do, Macho Man? You want to do Ric Flair? Who you want? Which one?
You pick.
Ric Flair?
You pick.
We're going to style, profile, and walk that aisle all year long at Belfry High School. And that's what we want to do. And, like I said, I've been blessed to coach as long as I have, to be coached by the guys that I have, even down to, like you said, turning it on and off with the wrestling stuff. That comes from a guy that coached with us and coached me. And when I was a young coach had me driving him around, Coach Rowe. I know you was starting when we still had Coach Rowe. He could turn it on and off. He's a great motivator. And Coach Mickey could still motivate me to run through his wall. So we're talking to those guys. And, probably the only plug I would give is to all those coaches that have helped me through my career, football wise, I've mentioned them all, but softball, Coach Coleman, Medea, she's been with me since the day I started, all the way to, she used to babysit Knox a little bit. She coached with my wife, and my wife coached volleyball. Chris Phillips and Derek Bevins, they coached with me forever. Now I got Coach Phillips, who I played summer ball with, and Coach Fahm. So I've been blessed with great coaches to be on my staff. And that's one thing I learned from Coach Haywood is you got to surround yourself with great coaches, and they kind of keep you going and make your job a heck of a lot easier. And I know Coach Coleman really does. She's always out there working on the field, and the girls are always saying, "Don't mess it up. It's Coach Coleman's," So we're always in it with her, but she does a great job and probably don't get the recognition, because a lot of assistants don't. I'll say that for all those, even the young coaches that are coaching football with us, we got some great young guys coming up that are going to be really great. Like you mentioned, the guys that's been around forever. We got Coach West, Coach Aldana. These young guys, Coach Staggs, who's from over here. They're you watch them get better every day. And that's, as an older coach now, one thing Coach taught us is you teach coaches. So we're teaching them like he taught us. That's why Matt was ready to go. And that's why, Coach Castle and Coach Tackett still coach me and Matt they've been there longer than we have, and they're still, I look at them and be like, hey, can you stop this? And then I might try to run it if Coach Castle tells me he can't stop it. Or if Coach Tackett tells me they can't stop this play, we're going to run it.
Yes.
Yeah, I trust 35 years of experience. And, at Belfry, we're a big family, and I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from other schools is consistency. Consistency breeds winning. If you have a lot of turnover, it shows.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed to not have a lot of that, and hopefully that continues.
I think that's a great. We had so much fun for Knox, for Ryan Rooster Chapman, for Corey Vance to be the man. You got to beat the man. Not many people beat that man over there. So we had some fun today.
I got one for you. Yeah, what you got? Tell me what we got to have at Belfry. Pirate what?
Pirate Pride.
Pirate Proud all day, baby.
Thanks so much, guys.
He's feeling it. He started feeling it there, Randy.
Everybody else, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.